Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Raiders Daily. My name is Jackson. I post daily Raiders content, so hit that like button, hit that sub button if you guys enjoy it. I just did a deep dive film session on that Saints blowout 24-0 loss, and it was brutal. It was miserable, and to be honest with you, it was a little bit of everything. Basically, what Dennis Allen and the New Orleans Saints were thinking ahead of this game was, Davante Adams isn't going to beat us, all right? We're going to press him, and they pressed Davante nearly every single time, literally every single time, and they're going to give help with the safety. So you're essentially double teaming Davante Adams 90 to 95% of your offensive game. So their thought philosophy was, somebody else is going to beat us. Somebody else is going to beat us. And I have a lot of opinions on that. And so I just watched Wi-Fi Willie, great YouTube channel, by the way. I watched his kind of video breaking down Darren Waller. Darren Waller, I guess, was interviewed by somebody talking about Josh McDaniels. He was asked about the offensive scheme and that kind of thing. And Darren was like, yeah, it's a little complex. You can kind of start to see some players are getting, but it's going to take some time. It's going to take more reps. Got to build that chemistry. You got to learn the offense. You got to learn the offensive scheme, and you got to make the adjustments. You got to do a whole bunch of different things. So it's a little complicated. It's a little confusing, and that's why usually you see players in your third year break out. Well, the Raiders, I don't know what you guys are thinking, but with a 31-year-old Derek Carr, with all this money to 32-year-old Chandler Jones, you gave up some very nice assets for the best wide receiver in the NFL in Davante Adams. You have one of, if not the best slot receiver in Hunter Renfrow. To be honest with you, there's blame to go around everywhere for that Saints loss. Whether it was play calling, whether it was just getting the job done, whether that's on Derek Carr, the offensive line, or just players making the proper adjustments, players making plays. Like I said, what the Saints were looking, that's how they literally stopped the Raiders, was they're going to double team Davante Adams every single time and make everybody else beat him. And so we saw a ton of checkdowns, and we saw the ball not being run in any way, shape, or form. But I gave an example a couple of days ago talking about, if you guys remember, Week 5 against the Kansas City Chiefs, what happened? The Raiders started off the game with a big-ass throw to Davante Adams, followed it up with Josh Jacobs' touchdown, get a field goal. You're up 17-0 in the second quarter, and what did the Kansas City Chiefs do? They ran the ball. And what does running the ball do? It simply just opens up your playbook. It also gets you yards, everything small. But the point is, all the little things matter, and all the little things add up, and all the small errors, the small technicalities, they all begin to add up. Now, like I'm saying, the pass protection wasn't perfect this past week. However, you had Thayer Munford come out and say, I thought we did our job. Looking back at the film, the offensive line did what it had to do. They didn't lose because of the offensive line. Now, there's a multitude of different plays where you're wondering if it's play design or if it's just players, Derek Carr, the receivers making adjustments. There was this certain, what looked like a double post move with Hunter Renfrow and Davante Adams. Davante beats his guy, throws his hand up, which essentially means I'm botching whatever play we had drawn up, and I'm going. Because I beat my guy, I'm going deep. There were so many plays where the Las Vegas Raiders ran whatever scheme, whatever play they were deciding to do, and Davante Adams getting pressed would be in a one-on-one situation. What Derek Carr and the Raiders offense decided to do was anytime they had, because they didn't have it much, I'm talking about literally a handful amount of times, was if Davante Adams, if the safety isn't giving help, let's say the safety, Tyrann Mathieu or whoever it was, is showing blitz, Davante Adams is going to go. That was a play design beforehand. The issue with go routes is they're really hard to do. Yes, we've had, you can have a player fall down. You can have pass interference, which we've seen the most in a very long amount of time. I mean, just, watching any football game, there's a ton of pass interference calls. But go routes, no matter who your quarterback is, no matter who your receiver is, it's a pretty difficult play to just do. Execute, I guess is the better word I was looking for. It's a difficult play to execute. And there were so many plays where Davante Adams finally got double teamed, or finally didn't get double teamed. He's in single coverage, whether the guy was pressing or not, and he's just running these go routes. There was a specific play where it was a double slant. I'll try and show the video on film right here, but NFL is very annoying with that. There were two just to paint the visual, there were 2 wide receivers. On the inside, you have Davante Adams. So in the slot, you had Davante Adams, and on the outside, you had Josh Jacobs. And so Davante Adams is running just a short little slant route. The issue with that is there's linebacker help. That safety's coming in. He's providing help. So we're talking Davante's getting either double teamed or even triple teamed. And that means he's kind of the decoy guy. And then you have Josh Jacobs running the outer slant. I don't know about you guys. I love Josh Jacobs, right? But I don't view Josh Jacobs as necessarily an elite pass catcher, much like most, if not almost every running back in the league. I'd rather have even Hunter Renfrow out there. I'd rather have Matt Collins out there. Ideally, I'd like to have Davante Adams be that guy. But I have to give credit where credit is due. The New Orleans Saints did a phenomenal job with stopping Davante Adams. They did a phenomenal. We know Dennis Allen. We know where he comes from. We know what he prioritizes. He's a great defensive guy. Very smart. He knows exactly what he's doing. And they came in with a plan, and they just executed it. They executed it better than the Las Vegas Raiders. And I know that starting the game off 17-0 after the first half is unideal, but you have to keep running the ball. I mean, you have to keep running the ball. And like I said earlier, having Darren Waller out for that game definitely played a role. Because if you're canceling Davante Adams out of the plays, the defense is scheming solely against Davante Adams, well, it still gives us plenty of options. We have the run game with Josh Jacobs, but then we also have very skilled route runners and pass catchers, and Hunter Renfrow, who has been extremely poorly utilized, in my opinion, this season. He has two red zone targets. That is very bad. That's not it to me. But Darren Waller, a playmaker, a great pass-catching tight end, having him out definitely was a big factor. But to me, I don't care if you're down 17-0 after the first half, 24-0 after the first possession in the third quarter. There's still plenty of football to be played. Technically, that's a 3-possession game. And what's been the best part about the Raiders' offense this season? It's the running game. Josh Jacobs coming off of 3 straight, well over 100 yards rushing games. So you can't turn away that easily from the run attack. So what I'm hoping is the Raiders, Josh McDaniels, their whole offense is looking at this film and they're just eating it up. Because I remember I watched it was like a Kobe Bryant interview, and he was talking about, watching you at your lowest or something like that, and he gave a story talking about, I guess, Candace Parker made a WNBA finals, and they got swept, or they got punched in the nose essentially, and he was sitting down with Candace and he was saying, did you watch the film on that game? And she was like, no. So they went back, they watched the film, because that's not easy. You hate seeing your team lose. You hate seeing yourself lose, not succeeding, just straight up getting beat. We had Davante Adams a couple of weeks ago say, I hate losing more than I like winning. So I'm hoping they're just dissecting all of this film, because it's essentially the blueprint to beat the Las Vegas Raiders, is to just shut down Davante Adams and make everybody else do what they need to do. And, ideally with a healthy Darren and a healthy Josh Jacobs, a healthy Hunter Renfrow, it's, I think if I had to give a take for this upcoming week against Jacksonville, I'd say heavily scheme it around Hunter Renfrow. Have many plays where he is the primary and ideal target. And I'm hoping that's what we see a little bit more of, because he's having not a great season and he's not getting many looks right now. And I hope they just fix all of this and they watch that Saints film, because it is a tough film to watch. So that's it for today. Hit that like button, hit that sub button if you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys later.